Dozier. His 17th home run of the year is a game winner.
Timing is everything, and the first walk-off home run in Brian Dozier's career couldn't have been timed any better. It sent a clear message that he belongs in the All-Star mix next week in Cincinnati. Tonight, Dozier and the Twins try to clinch their series with the Orioles. Welcome to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. Roy Smalley, we have spent all season, actually a couple of seasons, talking about Brian Dozier, what he has done both in the field and at the plate. And as we indicate, it's not just this year that he's been the best second baseman in baseball. Offensively, you go back to 2013 and his numbers stack up at the top.
Absolutely right. He's been the most dynamic run producer in Major League Baseball. There's no question about it. And you just look at where he ranks in what, in my opinion, the most important categories. And that's producing runs and moving yourself around the bases. You look at runs scored, runs driven in, extra base hits to move himself around the 90 feet base paths. He's been better than anybody else for the most part at that second base position. And he deserves to have that be recognized this year, because this year is better than all the other ones, as good as they've been. So vote Dozier.
Don't forget to vote for Brian at MLB.com, one of the final 5 vote candidates. Up next, Dick and Bert deliver the goods on Gibson. Twins starter Kyle Gibson will look for his 3rd win in 3 starts here tonight. It's the Twins and Orioles from Target Field.
Your home improvement needs. And by Bud Light. Stay in the game and drink responsibly.
So far in July, the Twins have played in one well-pitched game after another, and we expect another one tonight in Game 2 between the Orioles and the Twins. Kevin Gausman, one of the top pitching prospects for a few years in the Oriole organization, will go against Kyle Gibson, who right now might be Minnesota's best starting pitcher. beautiful night here at Target Field. Glad you're with us for Twins baseball. Dick and Bert with you for Game 2 after a thrilling win last night. As riveting as the start of the year has been for the Minnesota Twins, if they're going to play October baseball, playoff baseball, everybody needs to be a little bit better than they were in the first half. And there are some encouraging signs in that regard with Kyle Gibson.
Well, Kyle Gibson, of course, last year he had a good start, he had a bad start. What he's been able to maintain this year is the consistency. Especially you look at the numbers over the last 3 starts. 2-1, an ERA under 2. He's coming off a 8-inning shutout against the Kansas City Royals that he beat them last Thursday 2-0.
So far over the course of the regular season, the Orioles have out-homered the Twins at a rate of 3-2. But last night the Twins hit 3 home runs, and the Orioles hit 2 on their way to a series opening win.
And boy, is he pretty good at baseball.
Brian Dozier sends one into the upper deck.
The 5'11", 200-pound emerging leader of the Twins. You know his swagger, his smile, his sizzle. You know his highlights and the hair. You know he's beloved by his coaches and teammates.
Dozier with a stop, comes up firing. What a play! That might be his best play of the year. Brian Dozier walks off the White Sox.
More freedom and flair than fear and awe. Seduced by promise, captivated by his potential. We know where Brian Dozier has been. Where does he go from here?
Deep to left field, back and gone. Dozier just cranked his 17th. And we trust that many of you by now have tried to secure Brian Dozier's future in Cincinnati next week. A week from tonight, it's the All-Star game. Brian deserves to be there, and you can do your part. And if you haven't yet, we encourage you to do so.
Sure do.
The walk-off home run last night, the 3rd walk-off hit for the Twins this year. And Twins have played 6 very interesting games, winning 3, losing 3 against some of the best teams in the American League a year ago. Buck Showalter trying to hide.
Don't hide from our camera. We will find you.
Menard's batting order for the Orioles. Manny Machado leading things off. Jimmy Paredes hitting 2nd. Adam Jones 3rd. Chris Davis, Matt Wieters, Chris Parmalee, the middle of the Baltimore lineup. Then Travis Snyder, J.J. Hardy, and Ryan Flaherty.
And on the mound this evening will be Kyle Gibson, 27 years old, making his 17th start of the year. This will be his second career start against the Orioles. The only other time he faced them to go to last year in August in Baltimore. Got a no decision in the Twins' 3-2 loss, but he pitched 5 very good innings, only gave up 1 run.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Escobar, Hicks, Rosario across the outfield. Plouffe, Santana, Dozier, Bauer, the infielders, and Kurt Suzuki back behind the plate.
You know, Dick, what's so nice is, yeah, we've had a lot of low-scoring games in the first 6, but the highlights of the defense behind this staff, I think, is the most impressive thing. The catch that Hicks made, we highlighted Dozier right there about all the great plays he made. You cannot pitch a low-pitch game unless you have good defense behind you.
1-1. Maybe in its own way, a reflection of the improvement of the pitching staff, too. The Twins had some low-scoring games, but it was only their half of the line score that was low-scoring. There's a ball lined to center field, and Hicks will get the first hop, and Machado at least is held in the ballpark with a leadoff hit here tonight.
3 less bases that he got last night when he hit that second pitch from Phil Hughes for that home run.
And he was going to afford to chuckle about it now. He pitched a good ball game, gave up just 2 runs over 6 1/3 innings.
Another quality start by a starter.
Jimmy Paredes will hit, designated hitter for the Orioles. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, we touched on Paredes a little bit last night, Dick, about you know, how they got him from the Kansas City Royals for cash considerations, and a guy that has good minor league numbers never really did it up here. He's doing it now.
Very short center field, and Hicks with a long run makes the catch about 30 feet from Danny Santana, 1 away. And that'll bring up Adam Jones. Kyle Gibson has emerged as perhaps the team leader in this rotation. It's been a good rotation. Phil Hughes has pitched well, did a good job again last night, but for a youngster developed within the system, Gibson's developed rather nicely.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, you go back to May 1st for Kyle Gibson, he has been outstanding, but he's a guy that has to rely on his defense. He's not going to strike out more than maybe 4 or 5 in a ball game. So he makes the opponent put the ball in play, and hopefully it's on the ground. 18 double plays already turned behind Gibson. He and Mike Pelfrey with the major league lead in double plays.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball.
Kyle at 6'6", about 215 pounds. 9 of his first 16 starts, quality starts, and the last 4 have been quality starts.
That's a fair ball into the corner, and Escobar will play the carom. Well, here's the throw to third base, and safe at third, and Jones will go to second base. Escobar took a risk, and he delivered an on-target throw, but Machado got in under the tag.
Yeah, I think that's the risk right there, because Machado pretty good speed, and that's kind of a play. You think it's okay, it's a base hit, it got to me pretty quickly, but I want to keep that double play in order, because who's on the mound? Being Kyle Gibson. It was a sinker down and in, and Jones hitting it right down that line. Machado getting the third, but Jones getting the second.
And now Chris Davis. Twins won an extra inning game last night, largely because the Orioles, who've been very good with men in scoring position, could not get a hit with men in scoring position last night.
Well, Davis with 51 runs batted in.
Twins will play the infield back here with 1 gone and 2 men in scoring position. Fouled back, a strike.
Davis, in his 5th season with the Orioles, came up with the Texas Rangers back in 2008. Joined the Orioles in 2011.
Gibson will strike out about 2 guys for every 3 innings pitched, and he would like to get one here. Davis already has 103 strikeouts in 291 at bats, 1-1. As dangerous as he is, he strikes out more than 1 every 3 times. There's the number we were talking about. The average was 306 going into the game last night, and they went an 0 for, or had an 0 for, with men in scoring position, bringing the average down to 301. Now 2-1. Matt Wieters, the switch hitting catcher, on deck. Three and one.
Trying to pitch Davis inside right there. A couple fastballs missed inside, the breaking ball inside.
Three and one to Davis. Swing and a miss on a slider.
Good pitch right there. In a fastball situation, Gibson throwing the breaking ball
to a left-handed batter. Is that his strikeout pitch, the slider?
It might be if he can get it underneath. Gibson also a very good changeup. Might want to come back with the same pitch, but keep it down underneath Davis's swing.
Full count.
Watch Suzuki set up again inside.
Tap foul.
He left that pitch up a little bit. You know, you might throw 100. Gibson threw 114 pitches in his last start, and a game can sometimes be determined by maybe 2 or 3 pitches. And I think he got away with a pitch right there. There's some shaking off. Now agreeing. See what they decide on.
Struck him out.
There, right there, underneath that swing. Big strikeout right there for Kyle Gibson. Kyle with a 66 strikeout and 101 innings pitched. And you can see left-handers, that ball right there, they love that ball down and in. And you can throw that pitch. That's a beautiful pitch right there.
He missed that pitch by 8 inches. 2 down, and here's Wieters. Hitting over 300 from this side of the plate, just over 100 from the other side of the plate.
He had a good night at the plate last night. 3 hits in 4 at-bats, a couple singles, a double.
Swing and a miss with a fastball.
Yeah, Wieters' season really starting on June 5th. He started the season on the disabled, is still recovering from the Tommy John surgery that he had last year.
One strike to Wieters. And another high fastball gets a foul tip. 0-2. Now, just because he's a big, tall, powerful left-handed batter doesn't necessarily mean he's got the same vulnerability that Davis did to a breaking ball down and in.
I think you have to find out. You know, I mean, but you have to keep it down. You can't leave it up, or he could line it into right field. Suzuki again sitting inside, and they tried it, but Wieters laid off a little bit too low. That breaking ball that he threw to Davis started right about thigh high, and remember, Suzuki caught it about at his feet level. So a good breaking ball. Gibson doing a good job of damage control.
17th pitch of the inning. And another slider inside, taken for ball 2. A base open. Chris Parmelee on deck.
Opponents hitting 244 off of Gibson this year. Left-handers are hitting only 238. Right-handers 250.
Fastball inside. Apparently the Twins feel that Wieters likes the ball out over the plate. Maybe they had that reinforced in the ball game last night.
Well, they're almost pitching Wieters the same way that they were pitching Chris Davis.
Full count to the Baltimore catcher.
They have first base open right here. Make a good pitch.
Got him.
Yep, good pitch.
And the Orioles again come up empty with men in scoring position. Kyle Gibson striking out Davis and Wieters to keep this game scoreless. with the Orioles coming up empty-handed in the top of the first inning. The Menard batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer second. Trevor Plouffe. Miguel Sano moving up to the cleanup spot. Eddie Rosario. Eduardo Escobar. Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Danny Santana.
Kevin Gausman on the mound, making just his third start. He spent a lot of time on a disabled list this year with tendonitis in the right shoulder. Started the season for about a month and a half in the bullpen. Then he was put on a disabled list, now making his third straight start. This young man they're very, very high on. A #1 pick by the Orioles out of LSU back in 2012.
Again, you can vote Dozier and get him to the All-Star game in Cincinnati. And he takes strike one. Finished the ball game last night with a 2-run home run against Tommy Hunter. See Brian take that first pitch strike very often. And he's taking a second pitch strike.
Gausman with a good fastball, saw the curveball right there for strike two. Also a split finger.
Hit hard to center. Going back is Jones, still going back, and he makes the catch short of the warning track. Dozier gave it a ride, but to center field for a deep fly out, one down. Northland 4 defense for the Orioles. Travis Snyder in left, Adam Jones in center, Chris Davis in right. A couple of former Twins in the infield, Hardy at short, Marmoley at first, Flaherty and Machado the other infielders, and Matt Wieters behind the plate.
Very good defense. Fewest errors in the American League. The Orioles with 38. And Dozier, yeah, hit it hard, but right to a 4-time Gold Glove winner. Jones out in center.
Here's Bauer. And he takes strike one.
Joe's been swinging a good bat over his last 15 ball games, hitting .370, 20 hits in his last 54 at bats.
1-1.
Now Gausman making his second career start against the Twins. The Twins saw him on September 1st of last year in Baltimore. He lost 6-4 to Phil Hughes in the Twins. Gave up 4 earned runs in 7 1/3 innings.
1-2. Won 7 games for the Orioles in their division championship season.
Yeah, and they helped make Buck Showalter manager of the year for the 3rd time in his career with the Orioles last year.
Up the middle, and that skips by Hardy for a 1-out single.
It looked like an off-speed pitch, and Joe just taking that ball right back up the middle. So he continues to watch that batting average climb.
2 balls put in play against Gausman, both hit smartly off the barrel of the bat.
Good pitch right there. And Joe just not trying to pull it, just takes it right back up the middle. Boy, beautiful swing.
And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. With Torrey Hunter out of the lineup, basically everybody else moving up a notch from last night, including Plouffe, who was hitting 4th, now 3rd. Sano's hitting 5th. He'll hit 4th. And that gets away from Wieters. And Mauer will go to second base. Take a big turn there. So
Gausman not a lot of innings, 23 1/3 innings coming into this ball game. That's his second wild pitch. That looked like maybe the splitter that went right down and gets away from Wieters, so Mauer in the scoring position.
That's hit fairly well to center. Jones going back, still going back. That ball is off the wall. Mauer to 3rd. They're going to send him home. Hardy's throw to the plate, not in time, and the Twins strike early. 3 very well hit balls up the middle against Kevin Gausman.
For Trevor Plouffe, his 21st double, driving in his 44th run. Fastball, boy, not a lot of movement on that high fastball, and Trevor, great swing.
Did you ever do that? You saw Gausman, once he realized where he delivered the ball, he brought his glove up anticipating it coming right back at him.
Many times.
Too many times.
Too many times, yes.
Here's Sano. A deep drive down the line, but it will hook foul. He got jammed and still hit it about 380 feet down the line. Looked like he hit this off the trademark.
Trying to go inside. Sano opening up quickly and pulling it foul. For Miguel Sano, his 6th game. He's 7 for 17 already.
Taken low, 1-1. A hit, at least one in every game played. A deep drive to left field. Way back and gone. His first major league home run.
He just gave his family something to celebrate. Not only how he has performed in the first 5 ball games and showing off his power here in his 6th major league game with his first major league home run. Twins take a 3-0 lead.
Admittedly, the smallest possible sample size, but the Twins may have found their cleanup hitter. 1 at bat, 1 home run. Here's Rosario. Outside, ball 1. A little bit of silent treatment in the dugout as they did Rosario. Outside, 2-0. The Twins have hit everything hard here in this first inning against Kevin Gausman. To Rosario. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, the home run measured at 396 feet. So congratulations, Miguel Sano. May there be many more.
Jam shot and a roller. Machado picks it up and throws Rosario out for out number 2.
Take a look at the pitch right here. You went back inside again. I think Wieters wanted that ball away. We just saw him hook a ball foul that was in a little bit more. This one, a little bit of a plate. And he deposits into the left field stands.
And the family approves. Escobar takes an off-speed pitch, ball 1. $1 million smile. Foul back, 1-1. Well, through the month of July so far, there have been so few multi-run innings. And now the Twins have multi-run innings in back-to-back innings. The 10th inning last night and the 3 spot so far here today.
And what's nice, it's in the first inning. Here goes Kyle Gibson, a little breather right here.
1-2 to Escobar.
He can continue to go out and hopefully put zeros on the board.
That's punch to center and a base hit for Escobar. Nice 2-strike approach. And the inning continues with Aaron Hicks coming to the plate.
Yeah, 4 hits in this inning already. Bauer got it going with a base hit up the middle. Plus double over the head of Jones. A 2-run home run by Sano. And Escobar just punching a base hit.
Gibson was not on the ropes, but he was in trouble in the first inning. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And he responded by striking out veterans Davis and Wieters. Well, the Twins have jumped all over Gausman here in the first inning. And Hicks slices one to left. Snyder is there to end the inning. But a good first inning for the Twins. And speaking of first, Miguel Sano's first big league home run. And it's a 3-0 Twins lead.
3-0 lead here against the Orioles. I'm Marnie Gellner. Brian Dozier won the game with his walk-off home run last night, but Aaron Hicks saved a couple of runs with a sensational catch. And talking to Hicks about that today, he said he watched the catch back on video last night and that it didn't look anything like it felt. He said during the actual play, it looked like he felt like he saw the ball the entire way. He said, when I turned around, when I turned my back to the infield, he lost the ball completely and said that he just reached his arms out and it landed in his glove. And he said there was definitely some luck involved. On the replay, though, he said it looks like he was tracking it the whole way. So, Dick and Bert, maybe you shouldn't tell people that he actually lost it because no one would know. But he said no matter what it looked like, that was a pretty fun catch for him.
That was a great catch. Thank you, Marty.
Parmalee with a 1-1 count. Now inside 2-1. You know, we've seen Aaron do that for his entire time in center field. On a ball hit over his head, he'll turn his back and run to the perceived spot. And there have been a ball in Chicago. Remember, the wind blew it off track and he was unable to make the catch. This ball hit into the corner and Parmalee strokes a solid hit leading off the second inning, and he'll dig for 2. Here is Rosario's throw to Santana, and the Orioles get another man in scoring position to start the second inning.
Yeah, high fastball right there. Parmalee just hooking that ball, hitting it sharply down the right field line. And for Kyle Gibson in the first inning, the base hit by Machado. Then a couple batters later, Adam Jones with that double down that third baseline, put runners at second and third, and 1 out. But he was able to pick up a couple strikeouts with Davis and Wieters. You don't want to do this every inning.
No. Snyder takes outside, ball 1.
Travis Snyder in his first season with the Orioles. Last 3 seasons with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Twins saw him when he was a upcoming rookie for the Blue Jays back in 2008.
Twins were happy when he left Toronto because he absolutely wore the Twins out. Orioles were 0 for 8 last night with men in scoring position, and they are 0 for 2 so far today. 2-1 to Snyder. We're 2-2.
Snyder only 27 years old. He came up with the Blue Jays back in 2008 at the age of 20. And he made quite an impact right away. Last year with the Pirates, hit .264 in 140 ball games, 13 home runs. Traded over from the Pirates over the winter.
Just got a piece of the changeup tailing away. Snyder 181 at bats, 50 strikeouts, so Gibson can get him. He struck out Davis and Wieters on sliders.
Now Suzuki sitting away. Change up.
Ground, roll to Dozier. 1 down, and Parmalee moves to third.
And a productive out for Snyder. Moves Parmalee over to third.
Paul Mahler asking Rudy Hernandez to come over. He had something he wanted to communicate to Miguel Sano. You know, Sano has only been out of the Dominican Republic and in this country for, what, 5 years, I guess. And you know, the Twins, I think, do a great job trying to get the Latin ball players assimilated into life in this country, but also teaching the language. Now in the new academy down in Fort Myers, there's just a wonderful classroom for the younger players to learn English and learn about the American culture.
It's mandatory that they attend.
And Sano, I mean, he's 22 years old, and just think of everything he's experienced in a short period of time. Rescued from poverty in his home country, 1-1 to J.J. Hardy. Infield playing back. And there's strike two. Hardy and then Ryan Flaherty as Gibson hopes to pitch successfully through the bottom of the Baltimore order and keep this 3-run lead he's been given.
You saw the average of Hardy. Average is always on the low side. Maybe he'll end up 250, 260, but he does still have some pop in his bat.
And a liner to Plouffe, 2 down.
Good changeup right there. Hardy out front. And Plouffe able to catch it before it hits the turf.
And now Ryan Flaherty.
Flaherty just getting called up.
Right now in this series, the Orioles 0 for 12 with men in scoring position. Out in front, strike one. Suzuki with a nice save on a pitch in the dirt. 1-1.
35 pitches, 22 strikes for Gibson. Nineteen pitches used in the first inning.
Back to Gibson. And he pitches around the leadoff double. Three home runs last night, one already tonight for the Twins. They've got a 3-0 lead. And Kurt Suzuki will lead things off, and he takes low ball one from Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, Gausman in that first inning, 21 pitches thrown, 15 strikes. And a lot of those were right over the heart of the plate.
One and one.
I mentioned before, Gausman making just his third start of the year. He started back on June 20th and then July 2nd. Most innings he's pitched, 6 1/3 innings. His last start of shutout baseball against the Rangers in Baltimore.
Fastball over the inside corner. Suzuki, Santana, and Dozier in the Twins second. And Suzuki strikes out, one away. Let's go down to Marty Gellner.
Dick, as you mentioned, the Twins have been hitting home runs at a much better pace over the last month or so. I spoke to hitting coach Tom Bernansky, and he said that just happens when you have better at-bats, and that when these guys have struggled offensively, he asks hitters to tone it back a little bit, not worry about results, just hit line drives, maybe even take a walk. He said then it starts to come around. Guys are feeling better about themselves. It all steamrolls. Bruno said home runs happen because there are mistakes that pitchers make, and he said right now we have our bats in the right places to hit those mistakes.
Certainly worked out so far in this homestand with 4 home runs hit in 11 innings. Santana tried to bunt, 1 strike, and now he pulls one weakly on the ground over the bag, gobbled up by Parmelee, and Gausman beats Santana to the bag. How that missed hitting the bag, I don't know. It went right over it.
It bounced right over it.
2 quick outs here in the second. That'll bring us to Brian Dozier. Landed foul.
Jammed right there, but you can see the ball goes back into fair territory, right over the bag. Almost hit it, but instead Parmelee gets it in foul territory. Gausman beats Santana to the bag.
That's not one you'll see every day. It landed foul, went into fair territory, crossed the bag, and went foul again. 1 strike to Dozier. And a line drive to center, caught by Jones, and then the Twins got 3 straight hits and 3 runs. Strike 2. And the dirt, 1 and 2.
Gausman making just his 28th major league start, his 51st game, 11 major league wins, 12 losses.
High fly to center, and an easier play for Jones. And Gausman has a much better second inning as the Twins go down 1-2-3. Kyle Gibson to take one of those. He's had to pitch out of trouble through 2 innings tonight. Strikes out the side. Kyle Gibson has been brilliant tonight. It has not been a smooth 2 innings for Gibson, but yet in its own way very impressive because of how he's pitched in tough situations. He'll face the top of the Baltimore batting order. He hasn't thrown many pitches from the windup yet. He gave up a leadoff single to Machado in the first, leadoff double to Parmelee in the second.
You know, Dick, and I think that's what we have seen this year compared to last year. I mean, innings like that, he would have probably given up maybe 2 or 3 runs. You know, where this year he said himself he's learned a lot just from last year's non-productive starts.
Chop foul, 2-1. Yeah, those types of innings were combustible innings for Kyle Gibson, and there were crooked numbers put up all over the place. He had done far too many for anyone's taste, including Kyle's. Far too many short starts where the number of earned runs allowed was larger than the number of innings pitched. He's had only one of those this year, the very first start of the year. Squirted off the end of the bat, and that'll stay foul.
He's been able to maintain the consistency, and if you go back to May 1st, Kyle Gibson, 5 wins, 4 losses. Look at the earned run average, 2.5. 78 1/3 innings. His walks are down, his hits are down. 7 of the 12 quality starts.
2-2 now to Machado. Popped up weakly, right side. Mauer wants it. 1 down.
I think when you look at Gibson, I mean, for those 12 starts, he probably ranks right around some of the better pitchers in baseball in those 12 starts, how they fared.
And now Paredes, who hit a fly ball to center his first time up. A little pop up into short center. Neil Allen has had an interesting first year, a successful first year as the Twins pitching coach.
There's the ranks right there since May 1st. You can see where Kyle Gibson is. Some very good pitchers. Sonny Gray, Chris Sale, David Price.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. And overall, he has 1/100th of an earned run out of the top 10 in the American League in earned run average. He's right behind tomorrow's Baltimore starter, Ubaldo Jimenez, who's 10th at 2.96. Gibson right now has an ERA of 2.97. And he strikes out Paredes on 3 pitches.
And another good slider down and in. So Gibson picking up his 3rd strikeout.
Two down, and that'll bring up Adam Jones.
But look at the bite on that ball right there. Good sinker, and it had that downward plane.
Jones pulled a double down the left field line. Orioles had a great scoring chance, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And Gibson struck out a couple of tough left-handed batters, Davis and Wieters. Strike at the knees.
Gibson mentioning that in his last start, he felt so comfortable out there, got to that point right there, that balance point, that he feels like he's in a good groove because of the relaxation he has on the mound. I think, again, with innings pitched, you become a little more relaxed out there. Last year, you're trying to stay away from that big inning. Now he gets to this point. Watch him. He's going to step off right here. But he'll get to the balance point, allow the arm to catch up, and that's why that sinker is deadly. That's right. That slider is deadly right now.
Jones takes a ball.
Steps to the side, gets to the balance point, leg up, and not too quick, allows that right arm to catch up, and then throwing, you can see the bending of the back toward home plate.
That's strike 3. The carom will come back to Gibson, who will fire to first to get Jones. A strikeout completed. 1-3 with the pitcher throwing to first. Your link to what's next by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
I want to pass along happy birthdays to the guy on the right. We'll just greet Chris Atterbury on the left. But today is Corey Provis' birthday. It's also his regular broadcast partner's birthday, Dan Gladden's. But Gladden celebrating his birthday elsewhere, not in the broadcast booth. And it used to be John Gordon's birthday as well.
It still is.
That's true. John used to be in that booth. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we wish a happy birthday to all those people. I got a couple of other birthdays here celebrating her 75th here from International Falls. Barbara Jean celebrating her 75th.
So that's 4 birthdays today.
2-0 to Mauer.
Now, I tossed a baseball to a young kid right down here that's celebrating his birthday, so that's 5 birthdays today.
And I've got the granddaddy of them all. And chances are he is a granddaddy. A great granddaddy, maybe. Arnold Svedjan from Lemoore, North Dakota. Watches every Twins game, and today he turns 105.
Whoa, he might be a great granddaddy. 105.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
well, happy birthday.
Great Twins fans in North Dakota know that Lemoore is just about 10 miles east of Edgeley. And not too far from Verona and Fort Ransom. Foul back. 2-2.
So a lot of birthdays today.
Probably, I'm guessing, 365th of the population celebrating the birthday today.
Well, I wonder if that's the same for mine and yours. Mine's 275 days.
I have no idea. I just know I'm not looking forward to the next one. On the ground, and Mauer rolls a base hit up the middle. Actually, that's not true. I'm looking forward to it because, frankly, the alternative isn't very good. Time now to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Leadoff single here in the third, and now Plouffe.
I want you to have your next birthday.
That thing, and I do too. I do too. It's just it carries some significance beyond the way that I feel. Shall we put it that way? Plouffe with an RBI double off the center field fence. His first time up. He takes a pitch in the dirt.
A nice little one-hop grab by Wieters right there. Trevor with his 21st double on the year. Last year, career high 40 doubles for the Twins. Drove in 80 runs. That led the Twins. The runs batted in.
Plouffe takes a strike, 1-1.
Gausman listed at 6'3", about 190. Again, Orioles #1 pick, 4th overall in the 2012 draft.
And that kicks away from Wieters. Mauer will try to advance and do so successfully. And Hardy backs up a low throw. The Twins have a runner at second with nobody out. Another wild pitch.
That's second time Joe Mauer has been able to advance, get into scoring position because of the wild pitch. Gausman's second wild pitch. And Wieters can't knock that ball down. It deflects off of his chest protector to his right, and Joe Mauer alertly scoots to second.
2-1 now to Plouffe. Swing and a foul, 2-2. Sano on deck. Chop foul. You know, the Twins have been involved in 6 straight low-scoring, if you will, regular season nail-biting games.
and yet they haven't done well in situations like this. As a hitter, you watch batting practice and they'll do situational hitting, getting the runners over. And frankly, it's cost the Twins some games in July by not taking advantage of situations like this. And Blue strikes out for the first out.
Gausman picking up his second strikeout.
If you've just joined us in the last few minutes, you missed Miguel Sano's first major league home run in the first inning.
Well, he got a fastball middle in, and he put that into the bleachers out in left field. A big 2-run home run that made it a 3-0 lead. So again, congratulations, Miguel Sano.
Just missed a home run on the pitch before. He's the 12th player in the last 3 years to start a career with a 6-game hitting streak. In the dirt, ball 1.
You know, go back to what you were saying, a non-productive out of Trevor Plouffe, but Trevor Plouffe not really in that lineup to do that. You know, I think what we have seen is sometimes the lower part of the lineup are the guys that aren't able to execute properly. To me, Trevor Plouffe right there, I mean, 3-0 lead, he's got to try to make it 5-0.
Flaherty looks at third, Mauer goes there, and Sano grounds out, 2 away, and that'll bring up Rosario. How you feeling? You feeling lucky tonight?
Well, always, yes. I got a birthday coming.
Well, 9 months or whatever it is. Kind of sounded like Clint Eastwood there. See if you're good at trivia tonight. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: who holds the Twins team record for longest hit streak to start a career? You'd think. Wow. You'd think like the Carus, Tovars of the world. It's probably somebody like Scott Stahoviak or somebody like that. Rosario takes outside, ball 1. Another area where the Twins have not done well. 2-out hitting. You know, in May when the team won 20 ball games, it was almost predictable that in a situation like this, Rosario would get a hit and get that runner in from third base. Fouled away, 1-1. Gausman trying to keep this a 3-0 ball game. One and 2 with Rosario chasing a 96-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, fastball up. Rosario swinging at a pitch out of the strike zone.
Hicks hoping for a chance this inning. That's strike 3, and Rosario may reach first base, and a run will score on a strikeout. The Twins get their 4th run. Weeder's having a tough time behind the plate. That's the 3rd advancement by the Twins runners on pitches. That one looked like Weeder should have blocked.
Yeah, that didn't look that far to where Weeder should have kept it in front of him. But we'll take a look at it right here.
Oh, that's just a pass ball.
Yeah, that's a good sinker by Gausman and mishandled by Weeders. And the Twins got a break because it didn't hit the limestone that Kyle Gibson got and ended up throwing it out. That ball kind of stuck on the back. They're right by the Delta sign.
I asked you about that before when it happened. Gibson struck out Jones to end the top of this inning. You ever seen that before, where the pitcher gets the bounce from the backstop to complete the strikeout?
No, but you know the pitchers are the best athlete out there. Remember, but the play went strikeout number 4, 1-3. So no, I have not.
Half swing, but a strike, and it's 0-2.
I don't know if they ruled that a wild pitch or a pass ball. That sure looked like a pass ball. And it was a strikeout and a pass ball.
2 strikes to Escobar. Hit a 2-strike pitch into center field for a 2-out single in the first. And up and away. Bud Norris was moved to the bullpen to make room for Gausman in the Oriole rotation. And a good start for Buck Showalter's team. Now with 2 strikes, Hardy will move over to the first base side of second base. And Escobar strikes out. Twins take advantage of a single, a wild pitch, and a pass ball to add another run. Everybody having fun at Target Field with the Twins up 4-0. Pen for the Twins if need be. Kyle Gibson hoping to not need too much relief help. We're very happy to have with us Renee Dozier to talk a little bit about this big week, this big homestand. The Twins' wives are very active all year round in some charitable activities. But Renee, what do you have going on this week during the homestand?
So this is our big event. We've been doing it since working on it since spring training, but it starts Thursday, and it's the 4-game series versus Detroit. And Thursday starts the raffle. We're having a big raffle, some really cool items. And then Saturday is the big favorite things basket, which is a bidding. So
now you know the guy to your right is the luckiest guy in the world. He enters raffles and he wins.
I've never won anything.
Yeah. Just when we've been
working.
You
mean you won Brian? Come
that's
on.
That's true. That was a big prize.
The batter is Chris Davis, but you've got playing catch with Torrey Hunter here at Target Field. That's one of the items for raffle, right? And a batting lesson from Joe Mauer. And tips from the pen with Twins pitchers. We saw Brian Dunsing out there. He can help with that. And I think I know the genesis of this, the custom Twins logoed poker table.
Yes, it is amazing. Alicia Perkins' dad has built it for us. So it is so cool. It's like a replica of Target Field. So that's going to be a big item for raffle.
Well, strikeout number 5 for Gibson, getting Davis for the second time. First out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Now we're going to show you the poker table again. This is a raffle item, and look at that with the miniature Target Field inside. That's fantastic. What was the item last year? Was it a bed?
It was a bed and a poker table.
And a poker table. Okay.
Now that poker table lights up, I understand.
I think it does. Yeah, we were just talking about that. I'll be bidding on that.
Yeah.
So you're a poker player, are you?
Probably for Brian. I think he would like that.
What about these player baskets? What can you tell us about those and what's in the items?
So they're all unique with the different players. So they're really creative and funny. I think most of the wives make them, so they look amazing. But yeah, it's just kind of with the player's personality and what they like.
Okay. Now, how can fans? I mean, where's it going to be here at the stadium?
So the players' baskets will be behind right field. I think gate 34 it is. And this year we're going to be doing texting for the bidding form. So we're going to all be around the stadium helping everybody bid with their cell phone. So
it's a little dribbler in front of the plate. Suzuki has a play. 2 down. Well, one of the neat items, the autograph paintings. Now, the players themselves did some of these paintings, or you know, how did...
Yes, it was during spring training, and we all went over and the players painted. It was very fun, and it was really funny actually to see how they all turned out. They got really serious.
Look at the concentration.
I know.
Wow.
How good of a painter is Brian?
He was actually pretty good. So,
what did he paint?
Way better than me. It's a baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And they signed them, so they're very.
I hope that was a bat, a baseball and a bat. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But this wasn't paint by numbers or anything like that.
It was
This
serious.
was okay.
We were laughing because Joe made his baseball. It looked like a softball. We're like, well, that's how he sees it.
Yeah.
1-0 to Parmalee, and now 2-0. All right, which one do you think is the best, Renee?
Oh, sorry,
there?
Brian. I don't know. I think Chris Herman had an amazing one. He was like the painter in the group.
Oh, is that right?
Right in the front, yeah.
Well, Chris is an artist. I mean, he does charcoal sketches and things like that too, right?
Yeah. Brian's was good though.
Strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
Where's all this money going to?
So it's going to an organization called Tapestry, and it's a women's center, and it has a lot of programs for women and children. It also helps women out before, during, and after pregnancies, and this is something that the Twins' wives have been involved in for many, many years. So it's very important to us, and yeah, we're excited to.
And it's going to be Thursday through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday, all the games. We'll be out here every game helping. Selling raffle tickets, so we're excited. I think it'll be fun.
Hey, look who caught the ground ball. Look who threw to first.
Well, you women do a great job. Your wives do a great job. Wives and girlfriends, thank you.
Hey, Renee, thank you for the visit. And good luck this weekend. And let's hope good luck next week for you and Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Tiptoe across the rocks to the headwaters of the Mississippi River at Itasca State Park. Fishing, hiking, biking, wildlife viewing are popular activities. For more unique travel ideas, visit exploreminnesota.com. Discover a world that's only in Minnesota. Tag your Minnesota experiences with hashtag only in Minnesota, NMN. Established in 1891, Itasca is the oldest Minnesota state park. Features over 100 lakes, 32,000 acres. Have you done that yet? We've talked about the headwaters of the Mississippi up at Itasca.
Some beautiful country up here.
Aaron Hicks taking ball one. He hit a fly ball to left field in the first pitch he saw in the first inning. And now 2-0. Paul Molitor very pleased with what he's seen from Aaron Hicks in year 3 of his tenure as the primary Twin center fielder.
You know what you see, and I think Paul probably does it. You see a little more confidence in Aaron Hicks. You know, I think over the last couple of years, because of going up and down, there was that little bit of doubt, and for some reason, just
ball hit hard to left center field.
at bats.
That's got some carry. It's headed to the gap, and it is high off the wall. And Hicks, left-handed, goes almost over the fence to left center. That's a long way for a left-handed batter to hit the ball.
You can almost tell by his facial expression that he feels relaxed now. And sometimes when you're a young kid trying to establish yourself, a former #1 pick, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Watch this swing right here. Fastball away. Nice, solid, strong swing. That ball hit off of the chain link fence out in the bullpen area. And it's a leadoff double for Aaron Hicks. His 3rd double of the year.
Read his lips. He looked in the dugout and said, "No pop. Can't hit it out to the opposite field." That's a long ways for a left-handed batter to hit it. And now here's your situation you were referencing before. Here's the number 8 batter, Suzuki, who takes up an in, but his job here is at the very least get Hicks to third base.
Yeah, because Kurt's been struggling offensively. He came out early this afternoon, working with Tom Bernansky, trying to speed up his hands a little bit. So this is an opportunity for Kurt to have a productive at bat. Get a base hit to right field.
Swing and a foul, 1-1. Kurt working extra time before the game today with Tom Bernansky. They were working off the tee. They were working short flips in the cage, trying to stay on the ball and hit it hard up the middle. One and one. Got a pitch to hit to the right side, but missed it. 1-2.
You can almost tell by his reaction right there. He knew that he should have made contact with that. It's almost like you see the shoulders kind of go down a little bit. Oh, jeez, I'm in that hole again. 1-2, 2 strikes on me.
Now you're just trying to stay alive and hit it someplace.
I don't care how many years you play, and Suzuki's played a lot of years, 9 of them. You're going to have ups and downs in your career.
Another pitch to hit to the right side. Gosman almost trying to help him hit the ball to the right side with pitches off the plate. 1-2. Taken low, 2-2. I just remember in 2005 when the White Sox were getting ahead of everybody, and they had a situation, whoever was hitting second had hit a double. Frank Thomas was up next, and Thomas hit a 2-hopper to second, got the runner over to third. They got the run in, and I thought, if Frank Thomas is doing that, this team is going to go places. And of course they did. They won the World Series. There's a liner into left field. That'll work. Suzuki will take it. Hicks will hold at third with the throw coming into Machado.
Well, that ball was down and in, and Kurt just dropping the bat and hitting it sharply over J.J. Hardy at short. So runners at the corners, nobody out.
Some interesting possibilities here for the Twins with Santana at the plate. Another look at the pitch down and in, and Suzuki drove it hard to left.
You come out early, you work hard at it, you concentrate at it, and maybe you got rewarded right there. Maybe that hit right there will get them going again.
Paul Molitor talking about Santana's bunting, and he tried to bunt for a base hit in the second inning. Machado even with the bag at third. Chop to the right side, and the runner coming home. And Hicks is hung up between third and home. And he stays in the rundown. And did he score the run? He is called out, and Hicks will look toward the dugout thinking he avoided the tag. There will be runners at second and third in any case, because Hicks did a great job in the rundown.
He sure did. That's your goal, is once you commit toward home plate. And it looked like maybe Machado got him on his back pocket. And Joe Bauer on the phone right now. He's going to take a look.
Molitor talked to Hicks himself and said, "Did he tag you?"
Right. Watch Machado right here. He reaches out.
Yeah, he got him.
Right in the buttocks.
And
but a great rundown because it allowed Suzuki to get to third. It allowed Santana to get to second, and with one out now. So the contact play was on. Joe Bauer talking to Joe Mauer.
it looked on that first angle as if they're gonna have the umpires look at the call. It looked on the first one as if he did make contact right there. Did you think he tagged him there?
Right.
So again, the initial call is out, and there needs to be overwhelming evidence that the improper call was made. Jeff Nelson, Twin Cities native, the crew chief on this crew. He's the umpire on the left.
And Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire who made the call. And I don't think this is going to take that long. Nope, he's out.
Yeah.
But still, a good rundown. You don't like to get, you like the Twins to score, but it goes down as a fielder's choice, 4-2-5. Put out by Machado.
Call was confirmed. So one out, second and third, and now Dozier will try to add to the run total here. Twins had a first and third, nobody out. Now second and third, one out. And the infield coming in halfway with Suzuki at third. Dozier takes a strike over the inside corner, and he looks back almost in shock. A couple of flies to center field for Dozier. One chasing Jones back near the warning track, the other a medium deep fly ball. Either would work here to score another run.
Trying to go back inside again, a little bit too far inside. Dozier goes down. We've seen Brian with that pitch inside, what he can do. Last night's pitch inside, 2-run home run. Maybe go a little bit more inside. Maybe it'll open the outer part of the plate. Now Wieder's sitting down and away.
There's another fly to center.
He didn't get it over there enough.
Jones with the catch. Both runners will attempt to tag and succeed. A sacrifice fly for Dozier, and it's 5-0.
That's what we've seen for Brian Dozier. He has taken advantage of the pitcher's mistakes, and he's doing a good job with that. Right there, sacrifice fly, driving in his 43rd run. When Wieters is sitting down and away, and that ball left outer half or inner half, and Brian doing his thing as he does so well, gets good wood on the pitch.
Now Mauer, who has singled twice up the middle and scored 2 runs.
Take a look at the pitch right here. That's down the heart of the plate. Wieters wants it away.
Ball 1 to Mauer with Blue Fondac.
And Aaron Hicks, getting in the rundown, allowing Suzuki to get from first to third. Of course, Santana followed to second, created a run for the Twins.
One of the things Paul Molitor wanted to do when he took this job was to make the roster more athletic. And when you talk about athleticism and you talk about speed, you don't often talk about an athlete in a rundown, but that was a big play in this inning. Hicks's speed, his ability to quickly reverse field, that was an athletic move by the center fielder to help this inning move along. There's a pitch outside, now 3-0.
You know, we've already seen a couple wild pitches. We've seen a pass ball, and this is 2 pitches ago. Watch this pitch right here. Watch Wieters. I mean, it just knocks that down. There's some miscommunication or something. Ball moving a little bit more than Wieters maybe anticipating.
And now Plouffe with runners in the corners and 2 down.
Yeah, they bail behind on Joe Mauer, the intentional walk. First trip, or excuse me, first walk. And a quick trip to the mound.
Dave Wallace, the pitching coach for the Orioles. You can spend your summer here at Target Field and become a Twins season ticket holder with the new Pick 10 plan. You pick 10 games against the opponents you want to see defeated and save off the box office price. Enjoy sweet spot benefits exclusive to Twins season ticket holders, including 10% off game day food and merchandise at Target Field. You can learn more about package options by visiting twinsbaseball.com/pick10 or by calling 612-33-TWINS. Big spot here, more so for Gausman and the Orioles than Plouffe and the Twins. Twins already leading 5-0. But now the third place hitter has a chance to do some damage with 2 on and 2 out. In the dirt, ball 1.
A lot of pitches for Gausman, 72 pitches, 47 strikes. Some action in the bullpen.
Brad Brock, part of a pretty good, a very good bullpen. He's a good part of it. Warming up in the bullpen.
Whoa.
And Plouffe is hit by the pitch, and that'll load them up for Miguel Sano.
Yeah, that was a breaking ball that just got away from Gausman. And Buck Showalter's going to come out.
And a disastrous start for Gausman as he retires. Actually retired only 10 batters, goes 3 2/3 innings. A lot of hits, misdirected pitches, wild pitches, and Brock will come out of the Baltimore bullpen. Prospect to contribute in a pennant race, but boy, has he ever contributed.
Well, you think about it, he missed all of last year too, so here's a young man that worked hard to get ready for spring training. He was hitting well down in Double-A. His numbers prior to that were outstanding before last year, and he's taken that Double-A experience, and he's had success here at the big league level.
He's already hit a 2-run home run today, and he comes up now with the Twins already leading 5-0. Bases loaded, 2 down, and here's Brad Brock and his numbers to face Sano in a key at bat.
46 strikeouts in 30 games for Brock, and 40 in the third innings.
It's a close pitch for ball 1.
Brock with a good fastball, split finger and a slider.
Popped up. It is back, and Wieters got a late look at it out of play. You know, he's hit some balls very hard. He's hit a home run here tonight. But I was most impressed with the walk he took in the 9th inning last night. His first game in Target Field. It's a tie game. He's got everybody here hoping he'll hit a home run. He's got just a handful of major league at bats, and yet he didn't expand the strike zone. He did on the very first pitch. He swung at a slider off the plate and then ended up taking a walk. That's pretty good discipline. And he checks his swing on the slider there. Talking with Rudy Hernandez, the assistant hitting coach who's worked with Sano going back to rookie ball, and he said, yeah, he went up with a plan in the 9th inning. He told Rudy, look, if I get a fastball down the middle, I'm going to take a big cut at it. And he just guessed wrong. It was a slider. But then after that, he tightened up the strike zone. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And ended up drawing a walk. Now, it didn't result in a run.
Wow. That last swing right there, a little bit of an uppercut swing, trying to maybe hit a 3-run or a grand slam right here. But now with 2 strikes, see if he cuts that down a little bit.
And I'm not sure Wieters blocked it with his glove. It looked like he blocked that with his shin guard. And it's a full count. Why would Wieters get out of his crouch on a pitch in the dirt like that?
Wieters just having a tough. See, he's trying to backhand everything. He did knock it down.
Well, it wouldn't be a grand slam, but it would be an impressive walk if Sano takes it here. 3-2 with the bases loaded. And he takes ball 4. I've seen so many inexperienced hitters come up and try to do too much with pitches out of the strike zone. And Sano seems to have some pretty good plate discipline.
Let's do a little pitch by pitch right here. Fastball down and away. Brock throws a fastball that Sano pops up. I thought that was a pretty good pitch right there, but it's called a ball. And then there's that uppercut swing. Then he lays off this one, but Brock 3-2. Ball's completely out of, not even close. So good eye right there by Sano. He picks up an RBI, his 3rd of the ball game, his 5th in 6 games.
Twins haven't had a game like this in a long time. Things are breaking their way to the point where Rosario in the 3rd inning with a runner at 3rd and 2 down struck out, but there was a pass ball charged to Wieters. And Mauer came in from 3rd base, and now inside 1-1. Outside 2-1.
Brock coming in, he's all over the place. Brock, 29 years old. This is his 2nd season with the Orioles. Came up with the Padres in 2011. Spent 3 seasons there.
Swing and a foul. 2-2. 3 straight batters have reached without putting the ball in play. Mauer got an intentional walk. Kloof hit by a pitch. Sano an unintentional walk. Twins have 2 runs on the board. Haven't gotten a hit since Suzuki's single. 2-2 to Rosario. I don't know that this is what Buck Showalter had in mind in making a pitching change. Gausman was struggling with his control, and now Brock has come in and struggled even worse. Escobar on deck. All the runners will be able to leave early here. Foul tip.
Yeah, something off speed right there, and Rosario just got a piece of it. All the runners going back to their bases. Brock has given up 4 home runs on the year. This is his 31st relief appearance.
Another 3-2 pitch. Line to base hit to left field. 2 runs will score, and Sano is trapped off second base. And he is tagged out. But not until the Twins had 2 more runs on Rosario's single. It's a 4-run inning, and the Twins have an 8-0 lead. Have played some very low scoring and tight ball games. This one not yet just the opposite. Mountain Dew fans of the game enjoying an 8-0 Twins lead. And on the first pitch of the 5th inning, Travis Snider lines a single to left. Now it's one thing to be given this type of run support, but it's another to handle it the way that Gibson has, and Twins are a little perplexed as to Mike Pelfrey and what's happened when he's had some early run support. It happened again in Kansas City the other night. Pelfrey handed an early 3-0 lead, and Pelfrey, one of the veterans on the staff, but yet he has not handled Prosperity real well.
Well, you know, 3 of his last 4 starts have not been Mike Pelfrey type starts, but I did talk to Paul Molitor about that, and he said, you know, and also Neil Allen, there's that dead arm stage sometimes a pitcher goes through, and hopefully that's what Pelfrey's going through.
Well, say if it's your right arm and you're a right-handed pitcher, that sounds like trouble.
Well, no,
if your left arm is dead and you're a right-handed pitcher.
What a dead arm is, sometimes pitchers will have it in spring training. Remember Pelfrey, over the last 3 years, 196 innings in all 3 years combined. So all of a sudden he's near 100 pitches, and he had been pitching great. I think he's just going through a little bit of a dead arm stage, and hopefully they have a little extra rest. And that's what Paul said. He's going to try to maybe give him miss a start here or there, just to kind of let that arm. You know, I think they expect about 150, 160 innings out of Pelfrey if they can get it.
Foul back. Meanwhile, in the catching department, you saw Suzuki with an 8-run lead do something that Matt Wieters has had a tough time doing, getting the body in front of a pitch in the dirt. Kept Snider at first base with nobody out. 1-2 to the batter. There's a chopper and a foul ball. Join us for the Lynx Night Out ticket offer. Welcomed by Fox Sports North for just $30. Fans receive a ticket to the game, craft beer sampling, and a commemorative Lynx beer stein. The offer is valid for games on July 3rd, 17th, and September 4th. For details, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details.
Well, Gibson has not had a double play turn behind him yet. He had 18 coming in, tied with Pelfrey for the major league lead.
Inside 2-2.
Good sinker there, just too far inside and down. Hardy, of course, with the Twins in 2010 in his 5th season with the Orioles. 3-time Gold Glove winner, 2-time All-Star.
Popped up, and it's backing out of play. It's going to land right in front of us, Bert.
Watch out.
Twins haven't done much run scoring since May turned into June. And Tommy Malone's enjoyed some run support, but Kyle Gibson certainly has not. So this 8-0 lead, very welcome.
As a pitcher in this situation, you have to think it's still a 0-0 ball game.
2-2 to Hardy. Missed inside, full count with Flaherty on deck. Snyder's leadoff hit here in the 5th ended a string of 9 straight batters retired. And retired in typical Gibson style. Here's a 3-2 pitch. That's hit well to left field, and the Orioles are on the board. J.J. Hardy hitting a 2-run home run, and as soon as Hardy left the batter's box, Gibson asked for a new baseball.
And that's what I'm talking about. You have a big lead. You still may need to make quality pitches. This Oriole ball club's not going to roll over for you. And J.J. Hardy got a fastball right there. So Hardy hitting his 5th home run of the year. And location right there. And Gibson knew it as soon as Hardy swung the bat.
So now it's 8-2. Fan throwing maybe not the baseball, but a baseball back on the field. Hardy's 5th of the year, and now bases empty, nobody out. Ryan Flaherty, the batter. Outside, ball 1. Flaherty hit a comebacker to Gibson. That squandered another Oriole scoring threat. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Yeah, they measured J.J. Hardy's home run at 386 feet. And the 11th home run that Gibson has allowed.
2-1. Through the shift, the base hit. The bottom of the Baltimore order has done its part here. A single, a home run, a single, still nobody out in the 5th.
Kurt Suzuki's going to go out and try to get Gibson. Talk to him a little bit, try to get him refocused. He's doing such a good job the first 4 innings getting ahead of the hitters. Now falling behind. Already 76 pitches for Kyle Gibson, trying to get the first out here in the 5th inning.
Manny Machado hitting.
Machado tied with Chris Davis for the most home runs by the Orioles.
Breaking ball off the plate.
That have now hit 102 home runs on the year. 4th most in the American League.
Started to say a moment ago that Gibson retired 9 in a row in typical Gibson fashion. Not one ball left the infield. But now 3 have left the infield, and he falls behind Machado 2-0. Single, home run, single. And Suzuki's going to go back to the mound. When it happened the other night to Mike Pelfrey, he was sailing along fine, had one difficult inning, got through that okay. But then Paul Molitor said he and Neil Allen noticed just by Pelfrey's demeanor that he was starting to wobble a little bit.
And I see it with Kyle right here. I don't see the same focus right now. You know, he's trying to aim the ball rather than with a big lead. You have to still let that ball go. And a dangerous hitter right here, Machado. He will have the green light on a 3-0 pitch. If it's to his liking.
3-1. Just to relieve whatever anxiety seems to be building here, Gibson hoping that Machado will hit a ground ball at somebody.
Just like that. That's a good call.
There you go. 2 down.
And there's a double play. He's usually good for at least one a game.
That was a good spot for one, even with a 6-run lead.
Yep.
It's the 5th inning, and this Oriole team, as you said, capable of putting up some crooked numbers.
That was an outstanding turn of the double play behind Kyle Gibson. 19th double play turn behind him. And that might be one of the biggest double plays for Kyle.
2 down, bases empty, and Paredes will hit.
So whatever Kurt Suzuki told him, it worked.
Big swing and a miss.
And the last 3 pitches have been good pitches. And that's what I've always said, your catcher can be like your assistant pitching coach out there. He sees Kyle Gibson from a different angle that Neil Allen sees him from in the dugout.
Side nearly hit him.
Gibson in his other start against the Orioles coming last year in late August, he worked 5 innings, only gave up 1 run, but he threw 96 pitches in those 5 innings.
Some swings and misses coming here after the double play grounder.
Right now 85 pitches, trying to get the final out here in the 5th.
A strong finish after a wobbly start. The Orioles get 2, but the Twins still lead by 6.
That includes Lowell from Richfield, Minnesota, celebrating number 90 this past Sunday. And we give $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for great Grandpa Lowell here. Happy birthday to you, sir. He's also a World War II veteran and a Twins fan since 1961. What do you know about these Minnesota Twins?
Well, I watched when it used to be the old Millers, and watched to see Willie Mays, Ted Williams, a long time ago.
They all came through.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of family around. You have some family that are watching you on TV tonight. Anything you'd like to say to those who are celebrating your 90th with you?
They all been so wonderful. I got a great family.
And that's what it's all about. Happy birthday to you, Lowell.
Thank you.
Lowell,
How about that, Dickenberg?
That is awesome.
90 years old.
Lowell, thank you for your service, too. God bless you.
1-1. Eduardo Escobar facing Brad Brock. And the ball taken low. Doubleheader for the Royals and Rays. They were rained out last night, so they played this afternoon. And Greg Holland actually gave up a run in the ninth, made it a tie game, but then Paulo Orlando at a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. Another walk-off win for the Royals. Now in the second game, Tampa Bay has a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the fifth.
They said that Paulo Orlando is really doing well down in AAA, so he's now back up.
Make room for him. The Royals designated for assignment Jason Frazier, who had really good numbers. Brock strikes out Escobar, one down. And that'll bring up Hicks.
Yeah, Brock picking up his first strikeout. A call third strike.
See the Orioles bunching the outfielders together and giving away a lot of territory down each line. Hicks hit one to the gap in left center field as a left-handed batter, banging one halfway up the fence. Scored a double. And then, as he was at third base with a runner at first and nobody out, a very athletic play that helped the inning eventually lead to a 4-run inning by just hanging in a rundown long enough. He nearly escaped the rundown altogether, but he allowed the runners to follow him to second and third base, and the sacrifice fly delivered 1 run. And there were some other issues the Orioles had before he knew it. The Twins had 4 runs on the board.
Yeah, big 2-run single by Eddie Rosario to cap that good 4-run inning.
And now another walk by Brock. This one on 4 pitches to Hicks. That'll bring up Suzuki.
Second walk from Brock.
Take your family to the ballpark this summer in the Minnesota Twins Our Family section, presented by Fox Sports North. Tickets in this alcohol-free section start at just $10 and include a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. For ticket information, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Here's Suzuki. Struck out in the second and then lined a single to left. Ball 1.
Yeah, single to left. Remember, he got 2 strikes on him. I believe it was a 1-2 count with fastball down and toward the inner part of the plate that he just kind of hit sharply over the head of Hardy. Kind of helped set up that 4-run fourth.
And a strike, 1-1. Twins hoping to move 6 games over the 500 mark, improved to 27-15 at home. Inside, but a called strike, 1-2. This is a team that over the last 4 years has averaged 49 losses at home. And they're on a pace to win more than 50 at home this year.
Suzuki having some words for home plate umpire Corey Blazer. Did not like that last fastball in.
1-2. Hicks takes off. The pitch in the dirt. Wieters has no chance.
Well, Hicks got a good jump right there off of Brock. He steals his 7th base in 8 attempts. I think he picked a pretty good pitch. Looked like a breaking ball too. And Wieters 1 hops. Flaherty at second. Hicks gets into scoring position with 1 out.
2-2 to Suzuki. Foul back. Santana on deck. Good night for the Twins. Struggled to score some runs. They already have 8 on the board. And now Suzuki lines one to right field, down for a hit. Hicks had to wait. He'll only go to third. But Suzuki now with a pair of hits in his last 2 at bats.
And that's good to see. Again, we've talked about, guys coming out early, working their trade and putting a little extra time in, and you want to be rewarded for it. At bat, remember I said maybe that'll get him going right there in his previous at bat. Here with 2 strikes, protecting the plate and hitting it sharply into right field.
And now Santana. Santana hit the ground ball to Flaherty, who came home and got Hicks in a rundown. Again, Hicks zigzagged his way on the base paths long enough to allow Santana to take second base and Suzuki to go to third.
Middle of the infield playing back. Santana, tough guy to double up.
Outside, ball 1. And a double play grounder. And the Orioles turn it. The Twins don't score in the 5th. We head to the 6th with an 8-2 score. Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's. Have bold for breakfast with the new chorizo burrito from McDonald's. Brian Dozier hoping to go to the All-Star game 1 week from tonight in Cincinnati. Has driven in another run here tonight, part of an 8-2 score for the Twins. Adam Jones will lead things off in the 6th. Can do your part by voting Dozier. He's on a ballot with 4 other players, one of whom will go to the All-Star game. Adam Jones fouls the first pitch back, 1 strike. Jones, Davis, and Wieters in the Baltimore 6th inning.
Yeah, Gibson making his 17th start. His last 2 starts, 2-0, 1.23 ERA, only 2 runs allowed in 14 2/3 innings. Right now at 87 pitches.
pulled foul. Gibson figures to start Sunday in the final game of this homestand right before the All-Star break. And the hope is Glenn Perkins and Brian Dozier. Who else would be in the All-Star contingent? TC will probably go, right, as the mascot.
I would imagine he would show up. Yeah.
Checked his swing. Did he go? No. So Jeff Nelson.
Adam Jones, after this, he held up right there. Kept the barrel of the bat back. Kind of asked Corey Blazer, please ask him. Ask Jeff Nelson.
Suzuki said, hey, what about him? Jones says, yeah, ask him. A dribbler up the right side, and that ball will stay fair.
Yeah, good job by Joe right there. Good job by Mauer attacking the ball. And tags out Adam Jones.
For two reasons. It looked like it might have done one of two things, either gone foul or hit the bag itself.
Right. Watch this ball right here. Joe, if this ball stays fair, well, it looks like it's going to stay fair, but Joe, before it got near the bag, ends up tagging out Adam Jones for the first out.
One down, and now Chris Davis. And strike one. Gibson wants to look back on the fifth inning here tonight as nothing more than a speed bump. Just had a rough start to the inning, gave up a couple runs. Now he wants to get back and have an efficient sixth and maybe the seventh inning too.
That's that refocus. Get back out there, make some good quality pitches like that right there.
Fooled Davis on the first pitch, a strike, then shaved the corner on the second pitch.
Yeah, 24 used in the fifth inning. And right now at 92 pitches. In his last start in the 8 shutout innings in Kansas City, a season high 114 pitches used.
1-2.
Gibson making his 58th major league start. 21 wins, 22 losses, an ERA 4.35 coming into the ball game.
Hook foul. There are 9 teams out of the 15 in the American League that have winning records. Texas now below the 500 mark. The American League Central, the bottom teams are creeping toward the 500 mark. Cleveland getting great pitching. White Sox have played the best baseball the last week and a half within the division. You don't even want to think about the wild card until September 1st at the earliest. At least I don't.
Right.
Your goal at this point is to try to win the division. But by season's end, these games against teams like the Orioles, who figure to be contending for a division championship or the wild card as a consolation prize, these games against these teams are really, really important. Almost as important as the games were against the Royals this past weekend. Every time you beat a contending team, you get a win, they get a loss. Swing and a miss. 2 away.
And Kyle Gibson picks up his 7th strikeout.
Here's your chance, fans, and we implore you to take advantage of the opportunity you've got to get a deserving player into the All-Star roster. Go to twinsbaseball.com/vote. Cast your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game final vote. Voting ends at 3 p.m. Central Friday. And if you want to use your mobile device, text A3 to 89269. A3 to 89269. Here's the competition. Bogarts probably, in my mind, should have been named to the roster the other day rather than Brock Holt, but that's just my opinion. But he's on the extra player ballot. And you know about Moustakas and the support he'll get from the Kansas City fans. Cespedes from the Tiger fans.
Right.
down and away, 3-0. We'll just go with the fact that they're voting and enjoying the process. Three and 0. And a 4-pitch walk, putting Wieters aboard here in the 6th.
Yeah, first walk for Kyle in the ball game. Well, 7 strikeouts. He was able to strike out Chris Davis 3 times.
There's Chris Parmelee. Parmelee with a double into the right field corner and a ground ball to second. Strike call down the outside corner. Foul, 2 strikes. I mentioned one National League score with a Twins component to it. The Angels leading the Rockies 10-1 in Colorado, but today the Rockies put Justin Morneau on the 60-day disabled list. Probably just a procedural move. Justin's missed more than a month already, but my goodness, we certainly hope that Justin can come off the disabled list and play later this year. It's a concussion. It's the same issue that set him back late in his Twins career. 1-2, and Parmelee indirectly was swept up into that. He was part of the fill-in process for Morneau at first base when Justin had his issues.
I just want him to get healthy.
Yep, 2-2. Well, Gibson trying to wrap things up here. This will be pitch number 107. Brian Dunsing, who is in a bit of a different role now for the Twins. We'll talk about that when or if he comes in the game. 2-2. Tapped foul. Last night Phil Hughes gave up just a couple of runs. In 6 1/3 innings, and now Gibson hoping to finish 6 here with just the 2 runs allowed. That's hit to center. Hicks will try to track it down, running to the gap and making the catch. Can of corn compared to the one last night.
Nice catch.
Gibson completes 6 innings, and Brian Dozier will lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Twins.
Twins are really making a push to get Brian Dozier to the All-Star game. This afternoon, players and coaches were wearing T-shirts that said "No Bull, Vote Dozier." There also is an actual bulldozer out on the plaza at right field here at Target Field. And Brian himself said he's very thankful to the Twins. He said they're going above and beyond what they're doing here, getting all the fans involved. He said it's pretty cool what this organization is doing for me. Dick and Bert. Brian said yesterday that it's not among his top goals to be an All-Star. He's more concerned about team wins, but you know that this honor, especially if he's voted in this way, would mean so much to Brian Dozier.
Well, given the fact that he had a bit of a taste of the All-Star experience last year when he participated in the Home Run Derby, how you could have gone through what he went through last year and not had a thirst for the full All-Star experience actually playing in the game, I don't know. So for a lot of reasons, we hope Brian makes it 1-1.
And given the fact that he's, tied for most runs scored in the American League, second in doubles, first in extra base hits, and he has played great defense. Those are three reasons right there.
Well, all of those reasons are why they had an All-Star game established in the first place back in the 1930s? Is that when the first All-Star game was? To showcase baseball talent at the top level. And Dozier swings and misses, one down.
Good slider right there by Brock. He picks up his second strikeout.
That'll bring up Mauer. Mauer scored 3 runs here today thanks to a pair of singles and an intentional walk. Outside, ball 1. A little bit low, 2-0. Johnson warming up. Looks like he'll have the 7th inning. There's a strike, 2-1.
I think Kyle's going to be a little unhappy at the last 2 innings. Your run support was nice, but the last 2 innings when he had that 8-0 lead, he needed 46 pitches to get 6 outs.
Headed up the middle, backhanded by Flaherty, and he throws him out, 2 down. We'll bring up Trevor Plouffe.
But another quality start for Gibson.
I have had this discussion with other people who have analyzed Twin starts recently, and I know you have as good a memory as I do of the last 4 years. When we pick apart a start like that, are we nitpicking?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, 6 innings, 2 runs.
No, I know, but being aware of, here's a high fly deep down the left field line, and Snyder on the edge of the track makes the catch for a 1-2-3 inning.
I think because we want them to do better.
Right.
We're pulling for them.
the Twins, for a change, have a comfortable lead.
Well, first major league home run for Miguel Sano. Congratulations to him. A 396-foot two-run home run in the first. That gave the Twins a 3-0 lead. And then in the fourth inning, good run down right there. Good pickle that Hicks got in, allowing both runners to advance. Trevor Plouffe gets hit. Later in the inning, Twins end up scoring 4 runs in the fourth inning. And Rosario knocking in a couple runs right there. And Kyle Gibson, a quality start. So far here in the month of July, 7 games, 6 quality starts by the starters.
And Miguel Sano with a 2-run home run, bases loaded walk, 3 runs batted in. Travis Snider will hit against Brian Dunsing, who has pitched well for the Twins as of late. And now with Aaron Thompson being sent down after the game last night, Dunsing's role will be drawn more toward the end of the game rather than what we've seen, 5th or 6th inning to get 1 out. He's going to be asked to do a little bit more a little bit later on in the game.
Yeah, that ERA inflated. Brian really, I think, he was on the disabled list earlier this year with that right intercostal strain, but he's had 5 outings where he's given up 13 of the 14 runs he's allowed.
To the backstop.
Just a bit high.
Dunsing has had 6 straight scoreless outings now, and maybe the one that really turned things around for him might have been the one in Milwaukee when he was asked to go 3 innings.
Yep.
And he pitched effectively, gave up just 1 hit. And Paul Molitor, when asked about Dunsing today, related his resurgence a little bit to, wait on this 1-2 pitch, to what Phil Hughes went through, where there's not self-doubt, but not as much confidence as you'd like to have when you're out there. Hughes has picked that up here in the middle months, and the manager thinks that that's kind of what Brian Dunsing's gone through. He had some rough outings and his confidence shaken a little bit, but now looking like the Dunsing of old. Fouled back.
Well, because Aaron Thompson pitched so well in April and May, it was Brian that was kind of put into that role where, okay, you get me an out here or there. And Brian really over his career has been a 2 or 3 inning type guy you could rely on. But really in April and May, because of the strain he had, a lot of times he'd only come in to get maybe 1 or 2 outs. And you're right. I think that Milwaukee outing where he went 3 innings, he got to extend a little bit, his arm out, and just build up some confidence. Yeah. Right. Well, he came in last night's ball game, faced only 1 hitter, and got the double play in replace of Phil Hughes with runners at the corners.
The last 6 outings have lasted a total of 8 innings without a run scored. 2-2. And he and Snider, a bit of a battle here starting the 7th inning. And in the 8 innings, he's given up just 2 hits. 1 walk. Throughout the organization, the Twins are a little short with left-handed pitching, and right now at the big league level, a little short in left-handed relief work. Checked his swing, and it's a full count.
Good take right there by Snider on that hard breaking ball. Pitch number 9 in this at bat. No free passes.
And he might have swung a ball 4, but he fouled it to the screen. That Snider's a left-handed batter is just a coincidence here. I mean, ultimately, Dunsing in the role he's in is going to have to be able to get lefties and righties out. They're looking for some help from the 7th inning on. And from the left side right now, that guy's going to be Brian Dunsing. Hit hard to center, a slicing liner, and Hicks to a knee makes the catch. 6 innings for Kyle Gibson tonight, and Marty Gellner's with him outside the Twins clubhouse.
Kyle, that was a good 6 innings for you out there. How do you evaluate your start here tonight?
I mean, I think I was battling out there. Physically didn't feel my best, but had a consistent release point, and Kurt was calling a good game. So when those two things are going on, it definitely helps. But I mean, they put together some good at-bats, and it was a lot of fun.
There were times you got yourself into trouble, but you were able to get yourself out of that trouble.
Yeah, I mean, defense is a big key to that, and for whatever reason, I got a couple more strikeouts, which helped as well. So I mean, when defense is playing well for me and I'm able to keep the ball on the ground, it's going to be a good thing.
Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Yep, thank you.
Dick and Bert?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You cannot pitch a good ball game at really any level unless you get good defense.
Dribbler to short. Santana fires on target to Mauer, 2 down.
Let's take a look at Kyle Gibson's night. He did give up some hits, a couple in the first inning, but worked out of it by striking out Davis and Wieters with runners at second and third. 7 strikeouts in a ball game. Hitting Jones in the third inning.
He struck him out and threw him out on the same play.
A lot of pitches in a short amount of time, 108, but a quality start.
Another left-handed batter, Flaherty. Strike 1. In keeping with Kyle's theme about the defense, that's been one of the significant areas of improvement. We've talked about the improved starting pitching, but it and the relief pitching should be better because of the outfield defense the Twins are playing now compared to any time in the last 4 years, and maybe even the first month of the year. 0-2 to Flaherty.
Yeah, Flaherty a little upset that home plate umpire Corey Blazer called that a strike.
Hicks a big part of it. Buxton, when he was out there. Rosario's been a very valuable swing outfielder, playing right, center, and left. In this instance, the Twins, and Paul Molitor said he really thought hard about it, but they put Eduardo Escobar out in left field because the Twins were starting a sinker baller. It stands to reason there wouldn't be too many fly balls hit out to left field. And I don't believe Escobar's even touched the ball out there yet today.
Nope, no fly ball to left field.
But it brings to mind what the Twins are going to do with Oswaldo Arcia, who's now not going to cover off the ball at AAA. He hit another home run tonight. But Arcia's outfield defense is substandard, and it's not at a level that we've seen up here for the last couple months. And the Twins are going to take offense wherever they can get it. But then you see what the Twins have done with Miguel Sano, trying to expand his flexibility. He is a third baseman, but he's been worked out heavily at first base, even taking some fly balls in the outfield. Full count to Flaherty. Foul back. And so if there's room for Arcia here anytime in the near future, it may involve Sano's flexibility. It looks like Sano's here to stay, at least for now. I mean, can't do much better than he has, right?
Yeah, you don't touch him.
So if he's going to be here, it's going to be at a designated hitter spot or called third strike. Flaherty's out the inning end, and Miguel Sano will hit for the Twins, leading off the bottom of the 7th. And it has nothing to do with the score, I'll bet. 8-2 the score. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Sano will lead things off with the Twins up 8-2. He's driven in 3 runs with a home run and a walk. Swing and a miss, 1 strike.
Changeup right there by Brock. He's worked 2 in the 3rd innings already in relief.
One and one. Twins knocked out Kevin Gausman in the 4th inning. 3 runs in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, 4 more in the 4th. Check to swing. No swing. 2-1. And in a very short period of time, what is it, about a week, Sano has gone from a 6th place hitter to a 5th place hitter and now hitting cleanup. Another base hit. Got a breaking ball away and he hooked it into left, put the barrel on it for a leadoff single. And Buck Showalter runs to the mound. He's going to make a pitching change.
This is what I think we all like about Sano. He's got the power, but they're just reaching out and hitting this ball into left field. Nice solid swing. Picks up his 2nd hit of the ball game. So 2 for 3 here tonight with a walk.
Left-hander. Eight to 2, Twins in front. Miguel Sano with another good night at the plate. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: who holds the Twins team record for longest hit streak to start a career? In jest, I said Scott Stahoviak, figuring it was an obscure player, but even this guy was more obscure than Scott Stahoviak. Glenn Williams was from Australia, and he came up at the end of the 2005 season. The ball tapped foul. He ended up getting 40 at bats and 17 hits. He hit .425 but got hurt and never played again.
Well, Brian Mathis coming in. See the numbers on him, making his 27th relief appearance. Good earned run average. Only 20 hits allowed in 26 2/3 innings.
Strike on the outside corner. Rosario drove in a couple of runs with a single. It was ironic, shall we say, to hear Paul Molitor with Rosario swinging and missing, and he's a strikeout victim, 1 down, talking about the lineup that he put together today, and he was looking for somebody to protect Miguel Sano in the batting order. And Sano, with all of 17 at bats at the time, feeling that maybe Sano needed some protection, and so he picked Rosario, who has all of 173 at bats in the big leagues. That's where the Twins are at offensively. In some cases, they're being led by guys who are getting their feet wet up here.
And doing well.
And doing well. Escobar takes ball one. Corey Kluber avoided his 10th loss tonight. He's now 4-9. And his mates shut out Houston 2-0. Fly to right. Davis with the catch, 2 away. Saturday, the Tigers are in town, and the third game of that series is on Fox Sports 1 beginning at 3 p.m. Central. Then at 6 p.m. Central, Baseball Night in America, the Yankees taking on the Red Sox on your local Fox station. For most of you, at least those of you in the Twin Cities area, that's Channel 9. And it's all this week on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Hicks with a double and a walk at the plate. And he takes strike one. Kansas City on its way perhaps to a sweep of the Rays. They're leading in the second game 4-1 in the 6th inning. Hicks takes another strike.
Saw Tommy Hunter last night, a converted starter to a reliever. Same thing for Brian Mattis, guy that started with the Royals when he first came up in 2009. Last couple of years in the bullpen, has done a real good job. Had 68 major league starts before the Orioles decided he's better off in the bullpen.
Two and two.
Matt is 28 years old. Orioles #1 pick in 2008 out of the University of San Diego. He's in his 7th season with the O's.
High fly right center field toward the gap. Jones chasing it. And it is Davis on the track, hauling it in for the final out of the 7th inning.
Update. Well, the Twins and Orioles battle at Target Field this week. We flash back to Target Field 2011. Carl Pavano on the mound, Vladimir Guerrero at the plate, and Ben Revere with one of his signature catches as a Twin takes extra bases away from Guerrero. That was back in 2011 at Target Field. Dick and Bert.
Where would you rank Hicks's catch last night to the Revere catch?
I tell you what, they're really close, except Ben Revere stuck his face into padding. Right here, Aaron Hicks, my goodness, over the shoulder catch, and he admitted he kind of lost the ball but still put up the glove, and the ball found the glove. How about you?
I think what I saw last night looked physically more difficult than the Revere catch. The Revere catch was determined to be the best catch of the year that year. And I don't know that I've seen any this year that have been better than the one I saw last night from Hicks. Dunsing with a scoreless seventh. The eighth will belong to J.R. Graham. And we might see a major league debut in the ninth. We'll see.
Well, you know what? J.R. Graham has been really pitching well as of late. If he can keep that fastball down, he has done a really good job over his last 4 outings. And you're going back to June 22nd. A total of 7 1/3 innings. He's only given up 4 hits, no runs, with 7 strikeouts.
So Shane Robinson out in left field. He's in there for Escobar. 2-0. Yeah, the numbers for Graham pretty good. He's had a few really rough outings. When you are in the role that he's in, the overall numbers really take a beating, and he does not want to, with a 6-run lead, start his inning with a walk.
Right. Got 3 chances right here. Throw a strike, get it over the plate. No free passes. There you go. You got
on the outside corner.
And you have to do it again.
Machado, Paredes, and Jones will hit for the Orioles here in the 8th. And he did it again.
And you have to do it again. He has a good fastball, 94, 96 at times. Suzuki not moving much.
Popped up down the right field line. And Rosario watches it spin back into the seats. Subject to the Twins bullpen, Ryan Presley on the disabled list because of what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, he threw a pitch and felt something in the lat area underneath your armpit right there. Ended up going on a disabled list as he calls out Dave Prumer, the trainer, or that's Tony Leo right there, the trainer.
Ryan concerned, never been on the disabled list, but concerned because of the sensation he had. The MRI showed it was a right lat strain. There's a leadoff walk to Machado. But it's, as he described it to me, under the shoulder,
right,
under the area of most concern, the rotator cuff and all that, and it's a lat strain, and it's probably going to be more than 15 days, but not season ending. At least that's the hope.
Hope not, right.
Paredes, the batter. And Graham misses inside. The hope is that Graham can pitch a scoreless 8th here, and the 9th inning might be set up for Ryan O'Rourke in his major league debut. Dribbled up the line, and again Mauer playing it aggressively, getting
very
the hop
nice
before the ball goes foul.
Right, very, very nice play again by Joe Mauer. Second time in a ball game he's done that. Earlier it was Adam Jones that hit the ball right down that first baseline. Joe charging, getting that ball in fair territory, tagging out the hitter for the first out on the play. Machado moves to second.
One down. Here's Adam Jones.
Jones will be in his 5th All-Star game.
Hit hard to center. Hicks back, still back at the wall, leaps and hits the top of the wall and drops at the base of the wall, and Hicks nearly took a home run away from Jones, or an extra base hit away. As it is, the Orioles get a run. Hicks just couldn't get back there, I think, quite in time to make the catch.
Yeah, great effort right there by Aaron Hicks, but Jones with his second double of the ball game, that high fastball, deepest part of the field, Hicks goes back. Oh. You can see the padding and then the cement. It hit right off that cement padding. Bounced back into play.
Buck Showalter wants the umpires to take a look at that again. Not a manager challenge, but an umpire review. And everybody saw it. And Buck's going to come out and get an explanation from Corey Blazer as to why they're not going to look at it. There's nothing else that could have happened other than the ball hitting the top of the wall and coming back in. There's nothing behind the wall. But as I think a courtesy to the Baltimore manager, they will take a look at it.
That's Laz Diaz this time, along with Jeff Nelson, the crew chief.
Graham's already paid the price for his walk.
Well, you see the concrete that holds out, padding up. And it hit right in the middle there, right between the padding and the concrete.
And you remember last year, Hicks went back with the old padding and suffered a concussion. Jeff Nelson will place Jones at second base. Jones suffered a concussion, and then the next day Sam Fuld ended up suffering a concussion as well.
Aaron going back. And the ball just hitting just over his glove.
And then Hicks's glove nearly knocked it over the fence.
But a good effort by Aaron Hicks. Adam Jones crushed that ball.
Ryan O'Rourke is warming up as we speak here. At least I think that's O'Rourke. Man at second, one down in an 8-3 game. Here's Chris Davis. Speed pitch missing. When Graham has had his bad innings, there's O'Rourke. When Graham has had his bad innings, it's been because of his fastball and his over-reliance on it. Now ball right side. Mauer will take it himself. Two down.
That was a breaking ball right there that Davis beat it to the ground and finally made contact. He had struck out 3 times against Kyle Gibson. On the play, Jones moving over to third.
And now Wieters will hit. Twins are hoping, obviously, to get through this game without using Fiend, Boyer, certainly Perkins. Wieters will bat with a runner at third and 2 down. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And there's a breaking pitch and a strike. Wieters with a walk, a strikeout, and a little number in front of the plate thrown out by Suzuki. Sliced foul, 0-2.
And fastball at 95. Graham not a big guy, 6'5", 6 foot, about 195, but that ball jumps out of his hand. So he grips the ball as a splitter, puts that ball behind his back. Let's see what Kurt Suzuki calls here. They had an account.
And he strikes out Wieters with a tailing fastball. Leadoff walks usually score. They did in the 8th against Graham.
Twins lead, which was almost not after Adam Jones hit this a long way to center field, giving Aaron Hicks a chance to make a great catch. He doesn't, but luckily the ball also doesn't go out. So between innings, Adam Jones showing the umpires, I got to do a few more of these, put a little more muscle on that ball to get the home run. But it stays 8-3. Coming up after the game, when we bring you Twins Live presented by CenturyLink, we may see more Adam Jones push-ups. We will definitely see Miguel Sano and his big hit in the first inning, his first career home run. We'll also take a look at the fourth and how the Twins separated themselves with 4 runs in that inning. And as always, we hear from the manager, Paul Molitor. Plenty of entertainment tonight. Stickenberg.
Thank you, Marty.
Yep. Adam Jones says, you know, I got to muscle up a little bit and hit it straightaway center here.
For some reason, the ball was really carrying last night and not so much maybe today.
Zach Britton coming in, their closer. He has 23 of the 26 saves. He will be going to the All-Star game for the first time in his career. He last pitched on July 1st, so just getting an inning's worth of work here.
1-1. The Orioles won their series finale with the White Sox and had a game kind of like the Twins have had today. A lot of runs scored, but by and large they've struggled to score runs. Because of that, they haven't had many save opportunities for Britton in this case. 2-1 to Suzuki.
Second season as a closer. Britton last year 37 saves out of that bullpen. Very good 1.65 ERA.
And now 3-1. Orioles started the day a game and a half behind the Yankees. The Yankees have already lost in 10 innings to Oakland. So even if the Orioles lose this game, they won't lose any ground to New York. Tampa Bay looks like they're going to be swept by Kansas City in the doubleheader. Toward the hole, backhanded by Hardy. He's got a set and fire, and a collision. Suzuki and Parmalee collided at first base. And Suzuki blinking his eyes. He'll get credit, I suspect, for an infield hit. The ball may have come up and hit Suzuki.
Watch the play right here. Hardy, a Gold Glove shortstop, to throw a little bit low. Now Parmalee trying to play the hop and hits Suzuki in the helmet, then the right eye.
Better give him a hit after the punishment he took.
Yeah, good for Kurt Suzuki. 3 straight singles now, an infield base hit.
And now Santana hitting as a right-handed batter. Double play grounder. Santana, one of the fastest men on the team, and he's hit into 2 ground ball double plays. 2 gone in the 8th. Let's check in with Marty Gellner.
Well, for our perspective, hopeful All-Star Brian Dozier, here are 3 things you need to know about him, courtesy of Trevor Plouffe, who told me Dozier's small-town Southern boy image might be a front. Plouffe said the first car Dozier bought was a BMW, but guys made fun of him. It didn't work for his image. He traded in for a pickup. He also said Dozier's not the whole package musically. He can play a little guitar, a little piano, but he starts singing and it's rough on the ears. Finally, Plouffe said Dozier lacks eating etiquette. He wolfs his food down, inhales it without taking a breath. It's like when you feed your dog when he's hungry. Plouffe said Dozier holds his fork like a shovel. 3 things apparently we all need to know about Brian Dozier, courtesy of Trevor Plouffe.
Yeah, who needs friends?
A couple of times I've been on the Caravan this past winter with Brian Dozier, in fact. And,
did he eat that way?
Well, I'm not going to say it, but I will tell you this. Dozier takes up and away.
Trevor Plouffe manned up. Let's go.
That's right. Well, we had his wife Renee here, and Brian and his wife for the last 2 winters have gone to Nicaragua on a mission to help build waterways and schools for disadvantaged people in Nicaragua. And I may misremember here. It's Youth for Christ or Ambassadors for Christ. Brian, even in the off season, he and his wife Renee do such an incredible job doing a wonderful chore in a country that they have no link to, Nicaragua. And for the last 2 winters, I asked Renee when she was up in the booth here, and she said, yeah, they're right now planning to go back again for their 3rd winter in Nicaragua. A walk here in the 8th inning.
What do they call that? Pay it forward?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And yet another reason to try to, get the young man into the All-Star game. His numbers support it. And plus, you like to see good things happen to good people. Here's Joe Mauer. That wasn't exactly the same message that Trevor Plouffe was trying to.
He was having fun with it. He was having fun with it.
Here's Mauer, a strike.
You can't laugh at yourself. Who else can laugh at you?
And I've been told on Twitter, it's amigos for Christ. So I knew I was not going to get it correct, but I was pretty close, I think.
Friends of Christ.
1 strike to Mauer. Scored 3 runs here tonight. He takes a strike, now takes a ball.
Well, you can see why Zach Britton has been successful as a closer. Ryan O'Rourke looks like he will get the 9th inning. Britton's fastball moving all over the place.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Look at the drop on that pitch right there at 96 miles an hour.
Paul Molitor's done it with Glenn Perkins. As a manager, you just got to get the guy out there, but maybe in some way with Britton facing at least 4 batters here. Maybe any of the 4 will perhaps face him again tomorrow and have a little bookmark as to what he throws, what the ball looks like coming out of his hands. Chopper to Hardy. And over to first to end the inning. Twins go to the 9th. I believe we're going to see the Major League debut of Ryan O'Rourke. To 3, the Twins leading by 5, and Ryan O'Rourke just called up after the game last night. Aaron Thompson sent down, and right away he'll get a chance to make his Major League debut.
His feet wet right here. Those are his numbers. He started the season in Double-A Chattanooga, then moved up quickly to Rochester. Left-handers down in Rochester hit only 125 off of them. Total of 15 innings, 9 earned runs, 7 walks, 25 strikeouts for O'Rourke.
Steve Pearce taking strike 1. Pearce hitting in Chris Parmelee's spot. And Jonathan Scope in the on-deck center. He'll on-deck circle. He will hit for Travis Snyder. One of the other options for the Twins, of course, was Caleb Thielbar, who's been with the Twins the last couple of years and was with them earlier this year. Swing and a miss, and he struck out his first major league batter. And Kurt Suzuki takes the ball out of play.
Good hard breaking ball right there. O'Rourke working ahead in the count. That ball will end up somewhere for Ryan.
So his role with the team will be to get left-handed batters out. And he'll face nothing but righties here in his first major league inning. So far, so good. He just struck out Pierce, and now it is Scope hitting for Snyder, and the ball lofted short left field. Santana there, and a quick first couple outs. Real quickly regarding Caleb Thielbar, time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. It'll be the series finale tomorrow. Ubaldo Jimenez has been very good for the Orioles, and Tommy Milone's been really good for the Twins.
Yeah, Malone has had 5 quality starts in a row. Jimenez, look at that earned run average. Both these guys have been pitching very good.
And now Hardy, who homered for the only first two Oriole runs, taking ball 1. At any rate, Caleb Thielbar, 26 innings, 28 hits, and 17 walks, and a very high whip, higher than O'Rourke. So O'Rourke will get a chance at it here in July. And a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, O'Rourke, 27 years old. He was signed by the Twins in 2010.
Two and 1. Originally as a starter, he's gravitated toward the bullpen. Hasn't started a game since 2012 in Class A ball. Popped up. What a thrill for Ryan O'Rourke. Brian Dozier catches a 1-2-3 inning for O'Rourke. Last night he woke up in Rochester, New York. And here is a Target Field finishing off a convincing Twins win.
Very nice 1-2-3 inning. Good night for the Twins offense. Kyle Gibson picks up his 7th win of the year. And that man right there, Miguel Sano, we got to witness his first major league home run.
Right now, by my quick observation, Tom Hanneman, the Twins have the best home record in the American League. They've won the first 2 of this homestand.
Dick, after 6 closely contested games in July, the Twins launch a lopsided win tonight. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, we'll talk about Miguel Sano's first major league home run, the 4-run fourth. We'll hear